Now, Transport Minister Sindisiwe Chikunga told media on Friday that the country's recorded some 719 road fatalities. That's since the start of the December period. Last year, in the same period, there were 751 road fatalities, equaling to an overall 4.3% decline. Just yesterday, 9 people died in 2 separate incidents in Mpumalanga. Let's speak now to Minister Chikunga about the latest developments and look at some measures in place to try and curb road-related deaths during the remainder of the festive season. Minister Chikunga, very good morning to you. Thank you so much for speaking to us. You presented the provisional festive season road stats on Friday, revealing a slight decrease of 32 road fatalities this year compared to the same period last year. You've also set some ambitious targets on reducing fatalities. Just yesterday, we learnt of an accident in Mpumalanga, and you set a target of reducing fatalities in Mpumalanga of 39.7% on Friday. Is this a show at all on where we're heading when it comes to the overall road statistics for this period this year?
Good morning to you, and good morning to your viewers and South Africans. The numbers of fatalities are increasing almost every day. On another day, there is more. On another day, there is less. So they're fluctuating. You can't know as to what is going to happen. As this is a very long weekend, we are extremely concerned because during the previous long weekend, we saw a number of people dying to the extent that the numbers actually exceeded the numbers that we were at last year. And that is why we're extremely concerned that, again, if we do not think about it as road users, then, of course, many people may still die on our road, either as pedestrians because they are leading, as we indicated, or as drivers or as passengers, and any other road user for that matter, cyclists as well. And this should not be the case. And as we indicated even on Friday, the leading cause of this is human error, human behavior, human attitude. People thinking that it's fine, they can drink, they can still drive, they can speed as they wish, they can drive unroadworthy cars. But even as drivers, they are unroadworthy in that they don't have valid licenses, driving licenses. They've not renewed them if it is for public transport. They don't have PDPs. So it's all those things that are a combination that lead to so many fatalities. However, I must hasten to say that we observed again something that the motorists are heeding our call, in that a number of people traveled during the day. Even when we were on the N3 releasing the statistics, the road was very busy at the time, and it continued to be busy. And even yesterday, the road continued to be busy, in particular during the day, which we thank South Africans for, because what it means is that they are heeding our call, and we want to encourage them. We are saying today it's a holiday. And people plan to do whatever that they want, festivities, and we're not against that. But we are saying please be responsible, particularly when it comes to road use. Whether you are a pedestrian, please drink if you want to drink, but do not then get into a car or walk on the road when you already are drunk. Arrange before you drink as to how you're going to reach your home, because that is going to save you, but it is also going to save other road users. It's going to save passengers. You cannot be a driver and don't respect your passengers in that you drink and you think you're going to drive people who are your passengers, because what it means is that you are not respecting them.
Yeah. Minister, as you send out this word of caution, we know that last-minute holiday makers may be traveling to different holiday destinations today, and a lot has also been said. In fact, weather forecasters are predicting heavy rainfall. What advice would you have for motorists who may be traveling, hoping to reach home before Christmas tomorrow?
What we always say about environmental factors is that as a driver and as a road user, you've got to take into consideration the prevailing circumstances. The speed limit might be saying it's a national road, you can drive at 120 kilometers per hour. But the environment itself, whether because of traffic or because of weather, it's misty, it's raining, it's everything. It actually says to you as a driver, reduce the speed so that you drive at a most safest speed. And therefore the issue of prevailing circumstances, the environmental factors are also very key, because if you don't take that into account, you then bump onto another car, then we've got a pile-up of cars, and we don't want to see that. And it can actually be avoided when people are tolerant with each other. And even those that are still traveling today, and I agree with you, those who are still traveling today, our message is that we want you to arrive alive. Your children, your family, your whoever are waiting for you, and happily so for that matter. You can't disappoint them in that, because you can't just tolerate other people. You can't use the road irresponsibly. Then you don't arrive at home. And therefore change the mood for the West in a family that is happily waiting for you because you're coming from work or you are visiting them, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, Minister, as you speak about children, family, changing the mood, I know that road safety is a very personal issue for you and many other South Africans who've lost loved ones on the road. How do you think this life-changing tragedy has now inspired you to put so much more emphasis on saving lives?
It's because I've experienced it, and I'm experiencing it even now, because it's holidays. Under normal circumstances, I would have had my grandchildren with me. They're not there. 4 of them, young, beautiful, intelligent. They're not with me. I feel the vacuum and the void. And this is what happens to many South Africans. You are aware of my case, maybe because of my position. But there are so many other South Africans who are sitting alone at the corner there, feeling exactly like myself, that emptiness, that void, that wish that they were here with me, that going to town and for the first time Christmas or second time you can't buy them some present for Christmas. So it's these things that become a reality to families that lose their families on the road. It's unexpected, it's sudden, it's very personal. It's the death that you can say it's more painful. I don't know whether there is any that is not painful. However, this one, it shocks, it's everything. And that is why we are emphasizing these points, that please don't make your family again a family that is unhappy, a family that is devastated, a family that will never live life the same way simply because you just could not drive sober. Just because you couldn't be on the car and drive the distance and arrive home and then park the car and then take whatever that you have and drink as much as you want, but in a safe place. For us, that is important.
Yeah. Minister, as you speak about drunk driving, you've placed a lot of emphasis on it. Your stats have also revealed that there's a pattern of fatal crashes usually occurring after dark and before dawn, and drunk driving also has a major part to play.
And that is why we have said our South Africans, as much as it is possible, in other circumstances it might not, but as much as it is possible, please plan your trip and your journey during the day when it is still light, so that you are able to accommodate any eventuality on the road. Sometimes there is an accident somewhere, minor as it might be, but it actually stops the traffic. You must just be able to be patient with all that. Sometimes vehicles, people are driving very slow because of whatever reasons. Be patient with that. But sometimes the road is flowing and therefore you can drive at a correct speed. There's nothing that is preventing you from doing that. You must be ready to do that. What we are saying to South Africans, yes, we have deployed police, traffic officers. We have said they must actually be visible even in our residential areas. We have identified hotspots in provinces that are receiving more people who are tourists sometimes and visitors. We have looked at the statistics and we have deployed our resources in accordance to that, because we have said at this time our plan should be intelligence-led and therefore that is what we are responding to. But we depend on South Africans. And we really want to thank those South Africans that are heeding our call, including the media, because honestly, it is only because you are allowing us to air this, to say these things that reach out to quite a number of people. The private sector has been with us. We've seen them being interviewed, so that it's not only the minister or a politician who raises and emphasizes these matters. It's other South Africans as well. And we appreciate that very much. And we are therefore, to South Africans, nobody can therefore say, I did it unknowingly. You now know. So many people have said these things. Christian churches are actually preaching the very gospel. So you know, why not do it? It cannot be that it's only you who is right. Other people as well, I mean, it can't be. Other people as well, they expect you to do the right thing so that you don't kill them. Because most often than not, it will be a drunk driver killing a driver who has not taken alcohol or who doesn't drink even, for that matter. My boy was not drinking, but he was killed by a drunk driver who is out there and causing us so much pain. So I'm saying again, I thank you for South Africans, those who are respecting the rules of the road and adhering to them. And please continue to do that. Continue to respect and continue to be serious. We will save lives. It's 719 dead bodies. It's 719 people that are in some have been in mortuaries, 719 funerals, and families having to bury those, having to raise money in order for them to bury their loved ones that were not ill at all, that were supposed to arrive at home alive. And that is what we are saying and emphasizing, probably talking as a minister, but sometimes as a South African and sometimes as a mother, because that's what one is when you are waiting for your son to arrive and the son does not arrive at home.
Yeah. Thank you so much for opening up to us about that, Minister. You also made mention of how the period ahead will become more challenging. How is your department going to ensure that measures are indeed in place? You made mention of problems around residential areas. You spoke a great deal about speeding. You spoke a lot about people with unlicensed vehicles, driving without a license, and the conditions of people's cars also playing a massive role in the increase in road fatalities.
That is why even on Friday, we're actually reporting that we have had 423 roadblocks nationally. And that's a number of roadblocks that we activated. We'll continue doing that. We're looking at some days to say, is it still relevant, for instance, now to have a roadblock on the national road? It may necessarily not be the case. But is it important that we still have traffic officers being visible there, checking speed and all that? Yes, it is still important. But where do we focus now? Many people have arrived, and that is why our deployment is now in residential areas where we are going to arrest anybody who's driving a car that is not roadworthy. We take the car, we remove it from the road. And if you don't have the valid license, we actually arrest you. If you're driving under the influence of alcohol, we arrest you today. You will only appear in court on Wednesday when court starts to work. And that is what we have actually done. Even on Friday, we arrested quite a number of people on the national road, driving above the limit that is allowed. As a matter of fact, I don't even know why do you want to drink even a quarter of alcohol when you're going to drive such a long distance. We arrested them. They are still there kept. We have said to the police, avail the police cells for the would-be people and those people who would not want to adhere to the rules of the road. So we've done a lot in terms of preparing cells for those who must go to cells, but also we are, like I've said, we are deploying, we're looking at where the people are now. They are in beaches, for instance, in those coastal provinces. We've looked at the trends of travelers to say which province is receiving more people, and therefore we are deploying more. And what are the hotspot areas? We've identified them. We've seen quite a number of people traveling to KZN, for instance, to Western Cape, for instance, to Eastern Cape. And we therefore have said the resources that we have will be deployed in those areas. And we have said, yes, they are traveling to these provinces, but where in this province and where are the accidents? We've identified townships, we've identified suburbs, we've identified tourist areas where there are accidents, and we're deploying our resources in that regard. So like I've said, our plan is intelligence-led, and we're responding to that, and we are being proactive as well.
Thank you very much, Minister of Transport Sindisiwe Chikunga there, speaking about some measures that need to be put in place and also sharing a very personal story about how road dangers have affected her personally and her family, setting out that word of caution to avoid drunken driving and also take caution as you take to the roads this festive season.